you, hope you're well. So, welcome to VEDO. That's it. This girl, she's doing it. I'm going to upload a video every day in October. And if you don't believe me, just you watch. I'm so gonna eat my words. Basically, I've planned a video for every day in October. I hope you enjoy them. It's gonna get me out of my creative rut. I'm gonna feel so fulfilled. My skin will clear, my grades will be fixed, even though I'm not at uni. It'll be great. It'll be fantastic. I thought I would start VEDO off with my recommendations for Netflix documentaries. I watch a lot of Netflix, especially documentaries. Documentaries and horror are the two categories on Netflix that I just go to again and again and again. As a bit of background, I'm really into social and cultural documentaries, especially religions, cults, like weird pockets of society, because I find it really interesting how, like, despite there being a norm, people can just like deviate from it and that becomes their new normal and it's just totally fine. I don't know, I just think that's really interesting. If I'm going to be talking about documentaries, I have to first and foremost mention Louis Theroux. He's a British documentary maker and he's done tons of work with the BBC, and there's lots of his stuff on Netflix. He's got Weird Weekends and then he's got like his series of documentaries. If you want to start somewhere with his documentaries, I would recommend you watch his documentary on the Westboro Baptist Church or his documentary on gambling in Vegas. I found those two very interesting. Oh, the one on dementia as well, really good. Just in general, #1 recommendation, check out Louis Theroux. Next, in the religion and cults side of things, my #1 recommendation is Jesus Camp. I actually watched this documentary years and years and years ago, and it really captivated me. Like, I'd never understood, like, I'd never known about the relationship between like children and religion, especially in America, and Jesus Camp is a really good documentary about that. It really, like, I don't know, it like shocked me quite a lot, like the perspective, and like, I don't know, I feel like watching documentaries like this really helps open your mind and like be open to the fact that not everyone has had the same life experience as you, that like there's life experiences that are totally different and they're happening right now and you should be aware that that is a thing. So definitely recommend Jesus Camp. I would also recommend the End of the World Cult. End of the World Cult? Yeah, I think that's what it's called. It's just a documentary about a specific cult. It's a cult that's got all the classic characteristics, like, you know, like male old-ish leader followed by younger women, and it's, yeah, I find it really interesting. There was lots of like scandals about exactly what was going on, and like I just find especially the dynamic between the guy who's the leader and his son is really interesting. I've also watched a lot of documentaries on Scientology, but there's none on Netflix about it that I know of. I would certainly recommend, outside of Netflix, I would recommend the Going Clear and Louis Theroux's Scientology documentary. They're both very good. Definitely watch Going Clear first because it's a much more like overview kind of one. There's also really good documentaries on YouTube. Just searching here in this magic box. So I'll link one particular one that's like a long interview with a person who was in Scientology for a long time, who made their own like interview thing on their YouTube channel. I think that one's very good, so I'll link it below. One that I watched recently that I actually quite enjoyed was a documentary about Herbalife. I don't know if you've heard of it. I certainly had like a few friends who were doing it, and it's a pyramid scheme, but it's a documentary about the weird legal and economic battle that this one guy has, like, as a vendetta with the whole concept of it, and it explores the human side of the stories and the legal battle, and it is really interesting. If you know of people who've been in pyramid schemes, it really helps explain and contextualize the whole thing, like why they're bad and how it works and da-da-da. I found it really interesting. I thought it was very good. It also has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I like, when I saw that it came up as a new one on Netflix, I looked it up and I just couldn't quite believe that. And the final category that I'm going to be recommending documentaries for is like crime and murder and the law and the legal system. So #1, Making a Murderer. I mean, everybody had the whole hype about it a while ago. I still think it's amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch. Not a documentary, but kind of related, The People vs. OJ Simpson's, the dramatized TV series about the OJ murder trials. I didn't know anything about it before watching it, and I thought it was incredibly, like, I mean, for one, interesting, but for two, I thought the performances were amazing. Going back to the documentaries, I would recommend you watch Nick Broomfield's Aileen Wuornos documentaries. I'm gonna link the name of the two he's done, but basically he did one like in the 80s or like quite a long time ago, and then he did another one because he was asked to be in the case, and like his first documentary was used as evidence, and it's all really interesting. It's all about how there's this woman who's committed a bunch of murders, and she says that the police have framed her to create a female serial killer so they could sell the movie rights. And obviously this like a lot of conspiracy and whatever, and she does at the end like seem quite nonsensical, like she's not making a lot of sense, and she's quite paranoid, but it's very, very interesting to see the process and kind of how the legal system treated her, because it definitely like failed her, and I thought that it was really good to see that development from a documentary maker's point of view. That's all the documentaries I wanted to talk about. Let me know your fave documentaries in the comments, please, especially if they're on Netflix, because I will watch anything. I mean it. Like, I don't care what weird subculture it is, I am there for it. You can help me support the concept of thumbs by clicking the thumbs up button below, or validate my ego by subscribing. Check out my last vlog up here, or here will be my VEDO playlist where all my videos will be. Obviously, if you're watching it immediately, right now there will be one, but as they go on, they'll all be here. Awesome. I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you tomorrow.